new concepts related to local energy markets, peer-to-peer transactions, blockchain. For example, in a local energy market managed by an aggregator, prosumers and consumers can trade energy and flexibility with the energy community, within the energy community in a peer-to-peer way. Peer-to-peer may refer to both the way according to which energy transactions take place and to the information architecture supporting them. In this context, blockchain enables peer-to-peer transactions in a centralized way, perfectly fitting the idea of making energy transactions without the need of a central authority. Also, blockchain can offer a platform to host transactive energy markets where prosumers can directly buy and sell energy with each other. The decentralized control is essential for transactive energy is analogous to the decentralized consensus of blockchain, and both share the target of opening and democratizing markets. The main advantages of the decentralized architecture over centralized one are in terms of scalability, resiliency, adaptability, fault tolerance, security, trust. In this slide, we can see the implemented transactive management infrastructure to enable peer-to-peer transactive energy exchanges that has been implemented and can be used by medium-sized aggregators to manage local energy markets. As you can see, the solution is neither fully centralized or decentralized, but it is organized into hierarchical layers that interact with only with the neighboring layers above and below. In particular, we have the data center layer owned by a central actor that can be the aggregator or the system operator. It can be seen as a virtualized set of services of servers which are centrally managed by the central actor. Then we have the communication layer consisting of all the components needed to let the transactive controllers communicate one another, and at the end of the user layer where transactive controller executes the demand response algorithm. In particular, every participant make use of a home energy manager, which is a hardware component that is a microcomputer such as a Raspberry platform. It is endowed with a smart meter installed inside the building or the house. The purpose is to let the user access the transactive management platform, and it consists of a home device gateway, transactive controller, and an
Good
energy
afternoon,
manager.
sir.
Yes, can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. So it would be easier for us if you could go a little bit slower.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We have the home device gateway is an interface for communication to smart devices deployed within the house or the building. The transactive controller is the software engine needed to make decisions about the energy trading operations, and the energy management system coordinates all the communication between the transactive controller and the home device gateway towards the transactive management platform. Now I will describe an example of application of this transactive management platform for managing the interaction between the virtual power plant aggregator and its aggregated prosumers. This work was a result of a collaboration with Professor Donato Abbate, and in particular we developed a nonlinear stochastic method based on mixed interlinear programming optimization model to allow the aggregator to optimally manage a virtual energy storage system consisting of a high number of photovoltaic battery systems for participating in the ancillary service market for the provision of up and down regulation. This is made possible thanks to the new regulation in Italy that allows also aggregated demand energy resources to participate in the market for ancillary services. In particular, according to this new regulation, an aggregate can be composed of different types of resources, including generators, loads, battery energy storage systems, electric vehicles, without any limit to the rated power of the single resource. But the aggregate should have an overall minimum regulating power that now is 1 megawatt, but in the future will decrease also to a lower value, thinking about 200 kilowatt. This method allows the aggregator at first to evaluate the baseline. That means what should happen without any flexibility offered by the aggregator, and this can be obtained, for example, by minimizing the costs related to the energy absorbed from the grid. And then considering also only this term in the objective function, while if we consider the other term related to the flexibility, to the incentive coming from the flexibility that is provided by the aggregator to the system operator, we have this objective function. In this way, after calculating the baseline, the algorithm, the optimization method can determine how much energy can be offered for up regulation and for down regulation to the system operator for the next day. For example, here we can see an example, and there is also a pilot project in Italy, and there is an example including 2,000 residential users, all endowed with photovoltaic battery systems that are sized by each user according to its contractual power and energy consumption. And also, as you can see, here we have the state of charge of all the batteries of the aggregate. We have that due to photovoltaic production, it increase from 9 to 13. Then there is this up regulation from 14 to 18. There is a decrease of the state of charge of a battery. As you can see from this figure below, there is the flexibility in terms of power can be seen by comparing the baseline curve, that is this dotted curve, and this other curve with squares, that is the aggregate power with the up regulation during 1 day. We made many simulations during the year, and here you can see the mean of the daily objective function of the full aggregate, and on the right side, the mean of the daily remuneration. As you can see in this figure, it is clear that from February to October, the participation both in the up and down regulation and upper regulation allows obtaining a daily remuneration higher than the daily cost, because the objective function is positive and we have the remuneration is higher than the cost. And also by looking at this other figure where we see the daily increment of the energy cost for users, we can see that they also in the case of upper regulation, from March to October, we don't have any additional costs. These costs are very low, so in the case of up and down regulation. So we can conclude by saying that peer-to-peer energy transactions based on distributed ledger technology and the transactive controllers in local energy markets represents the most likely evolution for future smart grids, as confirmed by recent pilot projects. A new designed and implemented transactive management infrastructure is proposed and described that can represent a baseline for reference framework for blockchain-based infrastructure based on smart contracts that can be used to manage local energy markets. Even if peer-to-peer based solutions can exhibit better scalability than a centralized one, further studies and real tests should be carried out to evaluate the scalability of blockchain-based architecture, when the number of prosumers significantly increases and a new method for improving scalability should be identified. different option for